All right, moving on to the late afternoon slate. There are a lot of 4 o'clock games this week. The first one is Colts at the Raiders. This line opened up Colts -2.5. It's still 2.5. So who do you like in this game?
Yeah, I like the Colts in this one. I think that their defense is starting to play better because they're healthier. People will look at the game against the Titans and be like, "Oh, they got crushed by the Titans offense in that one. Why can't the Raiders do the same?" Well, in that game, they were without DeForest Buckner, and then we saw them come back against the Texans, and they were much better. And granted, I know the Texans were in position to drive and have the game winner at the end, but I don't think Derek Carr is nearly as dynamic. I don't think his receivers can take advantage of the cornerbacks of the Colts like the Texans receivers could, even though the Texans were without Will Fuller in that game. So I think that's going to let me believe that the Raiders offense will be slowed down. And then on the other side of the ball, you're looking at Phillip Rivers and T.Y. Hilton finally clicking on offense. Jonathan Taylor's finally getting going. It's a good matchup for all of them. They're kind of figuring out how to balance things in between pass and run. So I think that they can keep moving the ball pretty consistently. I think there's pressure on both sides because the Colts need to win to stay in the playoff, in playoff position in the running for the division title. And then the Raiders need to really need to win to stay in the playoff race. So I think it's going to be important. I do think the Raiders are going to play better at home. They've struggled immensely on the East Coast. A lot of people will look at that near loss to the Jets. Should have been a loss if they didn't call an all-out blitz at the end of the game. A lot of people will look at that and say, wow, that's a really bad performance from them. And it is. But at the same time, I think the Jets offense is getting better than people give them credit for. But yeah, at the end of the day, the Colts are better than the Jets by a lot. I think that they should win this game. And I think even with the Raiders at home, even if they're desperate, I think the Colts will find a way to pick up this win. So I'll be on them for 1 or 2 units.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Colts are the right side at the moment. I'm very confused about this line though, because the advanced spread on this game was Colts -2.5, and yet it's still -2.5, even though the Raiders, they almost had one of the most embarrassing losses you'll see. I know they endured Jamarcus Russell and Art Shell's second tenure in the past 15 years, but I think if they lost to the Jets, like that would have been one of the all-time like most embarrassing performances in NFL history, really, for their franchise at least. And they walked away with a win, with like a desperation win at the end, and everyone's down on them, and everyone saw the Colts get their 8th win of the year, and yet this line has stayed the same. Like, I wonder why that's the case. Like, I thought this line would go up to like 3.5 or 4, and yet it's still 2.5. So on one hand, I'm wondering if this is like a trap that Vegas is setting, that like they want all the money on the Colts, and like the Raiders are going to come out, and like what you said is right. Like they're going to play a lot better at home. But on the other hand, the Colts are just the better team, and they are healthier. I know they're still going to be missing their left tackle, which is a concern. But overall, like when they have most of their players healthy, and they probably will, I assume, in this game, like they're definitely the better team. And I think the most likely result of this game is Indianapolis winning by 3. So I'm going to take the Colts -2.5. It feels like a trap, so I'm not going to bet this game. But I think the Colts are the right side.
There's definitely some trap aspects in there, especially when you consider the Raiders, I think, are playing on Thursday night against the Chargers. And meanwhile, the Colts don't have any real look ahead because the next team they're playing is the Texans, who they just beat. So I don't think they're going to be like, oh, yeah, we got to look ahead and beat the Texans again. I think they'll look back and be like, oh, yeah, we got away with one there, but, we know how to beat them now. So, yeah, that's definitely weird that the line hasn't moved. I had expected that it already had moved, but if it hasn't, then I'm going to be watching this one closely to see if there's anything that comes up that we're not expecting.
Yeah, very weird. When I began to handicap this game, like I assumed it was going to be like 3 or 3.5. Then I saw it's 2.5. I'm like, man, something's up here. I don't know. It's strange.